Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Marriage and Money Podcast with Egypt and Mike.
Did you miss us?
Yes,
Even if you didn't, you back.
Did you subscribe? Better tell somebody.
Yeah.
Listen, first things first that come to my mind, health is wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 things that I tell people all the time, the major keys in life, health, happiness, and peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring that up because my wife and I were discussing that such thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like you should share your journey.
Which journey? To peace?
Health.
To health?
Health.
My journey to health.
How it has evolved.
Well, I don't mind sharing it, but you did kind of put me on the spot just now.
Well,
you should.
That's what we do.
What are we doing?
Hey.
So are you talking about the lupus?
Oh.
Well, look, I don't like to live in that, but I will tell you that my association with health now has changed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like dis-ease of the spirit is what causes disease of the body. I feel like first we got to get right with ourselves, get right with God, get right with the universe, make sure we're in alignment so that we don't compromise our overall health. And to me, it starts with spiritual health. But I think what my husband is getting at is why I don't go to, I go to them, but I believe in alternative medicine. Now, a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with lupus, and I was at the hospital almost every week, right? He was back and forth to the hospital. My body was essentially fighting itself. I lost my eyesight for a period of time. The left side of my body at one point felt like it was paralyzed. There was so many things going on with me health-wise. And when I would go to various doctors, they couldn't figure it out. They would do every blood test and couldn't figure out what was going on with my body. And then I was told I was diagnosed with lupus. What I've learned over my health journey is there are alternative methods. And often we believe what our doctor tells us as word for bond. What we have to remember is they are practicing medicine. We often miss that, right? A doctor practices medicine. That means they're practicing on you, boo. And when we have all of these different symptoms, they are learned and they're trained to classify them based on the symptom.
Right.
So, I've searched far and wide for alternatives because I want to live. I want to feel good. I want to be healthy for my family, for my kids. I started as a mom later in life. I had Harper when I was 42. So that means that if I want to be around to see my grandkids from her, I got to fight hard now, keeping myself healthy. So we went to Bali. A lot of things happen in Bali. A lot of grown-up things happen in Bali.
But your journey started before Bali.
It did. I'd gone to an alternative medicine doctor here. And then it led us to Bali, where medicine's a little bit different. There, a lot of people there, they turn to herbs instead of synthetic drugs, and they do praying and meditation and ayahuasca and all of these other things to heal the spirit before they even start on the body.
Right.
And I went there to see a woman named Dr. Bobby, and she's world renowned. A functional medicine doctor. Y'all, when I tell you she's like 90 and she'll run circles around me right now. She, done maca and acupuncture on me and literally read my body, did Reiki, read my body, told me where the sickness was. Here's what was crazy. The doctors here were telling me a million different things. Yeah. She said, your sickness is in your liver. When we cleanse your liver, I promise you, your ANAs and everything are going to come back negative. So to this day, doctors can't find lupus in my body.
No, ma'am. Yes.
Cannot find lupus. I had thyroid disease, and several generations of my family had thyroid disease. I've been on levothyroxine for years. I'm on zero medicine right now. Zero. No thyroid dysfunction, nothing. My body is in alignment.
Yes.
But it really did start with the spirit and being open to alternative forms of medicine. And so thank you for, I don't even know what, I didn't expect to do that today.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to share
you
that.
was about to go down the rabbit hole. I was about to say bring it back for a second.
I know, I can do that. But all in all, I think what's to be learned from this is we got to be our own health advocate. And we got to fight, literally fight for our lives and for our health and fitness.
Yeah. Speaking of fitness, our next guests know a lot about that.
Woo. Well, let me just say they're dope.
Very
okay.
dope. Yeah.
They got a huge following on social media, but when you see them, they are beautiful, and you will not believe they are the age that they are. Let's just say that. Jason and Halani Lobdell, let me say this. They're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
He's a renowned fitness trainer. She has such an interesting past because she was a fire captain. What is she like 5 feet tall? Like,
about that.
Do you know how much it takes to be able to be a fire captain?
A lot.
So I want to bring them in and we'll learn their journey together. But they are known as Mr. and Mrs. 2 weeks out.
Bring it to the table. What up, folks?
What's up,
much,
y'all?
man.
How y'all doing?
We are good. We are good.
Blessed today.
Wait, so did I get that right? Was it fire captain? Oh, no, it's fire chief.
Chief, battalion chief.
But, okay.
Okay, so for the folks that don't know, what's the difference? Captain versus chief?
It's a higher rank structure.
Okay.
More responsibility. It's just the rank structure because the fire department's a paramilitary environment. So when you think about the military and their rank structure, you work to get there.
Right.
It shows you've earned your keep, so to speak. So yeah, I can't let you keep me right there, Captain.
Right.
You know,
She like,
I
I
need a
earned
little
my
more.
stripes,
You know,
baby.
right.
Right.
So no, but thank you so much. Introduction was everything.
Appreciate
And you
y'all
two have
coming.
been married 21 years?
Yep.
21.
It is.
Can you do?
You know, y'all look like you're still in your 20s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess there's a lot to be said for working out.
Yes, it is.
Appreciate it. Yeah. We take care of ourselves pretty good.
I'm talking about my journey, but I still got
Now,
work to do.
is it a whole family situation? Everybody in that house got to stay healthy?
Them
No.
kids lazy as hell.
I'm like, it's embarrassing almost. Their coaches are called like, how do y'all kids not eat right?
Right.
How like our daughter ran track. How is her core strength so weak or non-existent, and y'all are fitness in the fitness industry?
How does that work?
I just never want to be that dad. You know, I train other people's kids and all that, and I train them when they want to. Or, you know, sometimes I make them, but not all of the time. I just want to be that guy that makes my kids hate fitness. You know what I'm saying? Making them do it. So
Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
don't do it.
I guess it's that kind of thing where you grow up in the household where that's what it's all about. So you
Yep.
stray from it.
Yeah.
They're going to find their way back to it.
Right.
I'm sure.
Right. Riley, maybe not. Kingston, he plays football. He's still in it.
Okay.
But Riley, she just went to college. We just dropped her off, 2 weeks ago? So she's worried about, she want to party right now.
They
Right.
do.
She want to kick it.
They like, I ain't going to the gym. My parents talk about it all day. I ain't going in there.
I tell her every day,
Look.
go to the
Burn some
gym.
pounds just listening to
Look,
them.
they 2 weeks out. I'm about 5 months in. Okay.
Oh, but you know, that's good. That's good. Where did 2 weeks out come from? What?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So it comes from the bodybuilding world.
Okay.
So after I had my son, I gained 50 pounds. And so I started working with a trainer, and he was like, you should compete, you should do bodybuilding. And so long story short, I started bodybuilding. I had to go to a meeting before a competition I was getting ready for, and he came with me. So what you see now is not really the 2 weeks out. This
Okay.
dude right here looked like an action figure, like seriously,
Yeah.
just on the day-to-day. So we're in the audience, and there was a guy who was getting ready to compete, and the organizer looked at the guy and he was like, you're not ready. You're not ready. He said, now this guy right here, he said, stand up. And
Yeah.
Jason's like, I'm not here. I'm just here with my wife.
Right,
you know,
right,
he's
right.
like, stand up, take your shirt off. Jason does it. He's like, now that's 2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. In
From
other words,
hitting
ready
the
from
stage.
hitting the stage.
Yeah.
2 weeks out.
And
for sure.
stop.
Yeah, so it means you're
That's dope.
on. So he always said whenever he got on Instagram, like, I'm going to get on Instagram. It's
Yeah.
2 weeks out.
That's dope.
So what is it? Tell me about like that conscious flicker when the mind goes, boom, I'm changing my lifestyle. I'm changing what I eat. This is my new way of life and what that means and meant for you. You're like, I mean, I just can't. I'm working on it.
Basically, what she's trying to
I'm
say is
working on it.
the
I
gym
wanna
ain't
get
her
there.
friend.
I get it. I get it.
And whenever I try to work out with her, it just
That's
don't work
partially
together.
his fault.
Same here.
You know, but y'all can't work out together.
Nope.
No.
No?
Nope.
What?
So does everyone think you do?
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We might go to
do
the
not.
gym matching or something, but we ain't working
not
out together.
right now.
Right, we're not working out together.
See now that I would have see, it's something to it, baby. Even there in the business, and
It definitely is.
Yeah.
He had me pushing a tire that was taller than me up a hill, and I was like, "Do you love me or hate me?"
But it's the same. I could tell her to push that same tire, and she'd be like, okay. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it
For
is.
those that may think it's abuse, it's not abuse.
It was
I used to be a
abuse.
fitness trainer, okay?
See?
So I wasn't just having her
When
put
I
some
met him.
tires, okay?
When I met him, I worked out twice with him because I thought he was cute.
Second day I met her, I said, come on, let's go put some tires.
I will not work out with my husband.
It's just something about it. It's almost like you just want to push back when they're telling you, when he's telling me to do something. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No. And because I also know like alternatives, I'm like, I don't have to do that. I can do this.
Right.
But when I'm working with my actual, because I have a trainer too, and he says, go push a tire up a hill. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm going to do it.
I'm like, man, well, didn't I just?
Why are we like that?
Don't worry about it.
It's you know what it is? It's for me, and I can't speak to you, but I feel like when I stop working out, then I'm done. But if you work out with your spouse, then he was like counting my calories, monitoring my diet. If I put Cheez-Its in my mouth, see, that means 20 extra push-ups. And I'm like,
but that's what you asked me to do.
I don't want
that
this.
Accountability.
No, I just want to love you. I don't want to work out with you no more. But so social media, I mean, guys really love your story. People follow you guys. I think you just inspire them. Your story of losing the 50 pounds and, starting business and staying married for 21 years. Just let's go back before all of that. 21 years is a long time to be married today, right? Today's standard. How did y'all meet in the first place? What was that love story?
Here we go.
Was it not
we
a love
have different
story?
stories. No, it wasn't at first, but you want to go ahead?
So we met like in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Like at a track meet. Like I saw her and I was like, oh, she straight? She was
Saw me, right? Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I did. And my buddy was just like, that's Halani, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. And then that next year, I think, or was it maybe that same year? It was 6th grade going to 7th grade. Anyway, we ended up going to the same middle school. And, in middle school, we just knew of each other. My ex-girlfriend was like her friend or whatever. And she was just like, yeah, he kind of hot.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. And, it kind of went from there.
Like, he is a mess. He was a mess.
So anyway, we met in middle school. And we had classes together in high school and all that stuff. We didn't get together till like going to the senior year.
Okay.
So senior year, she basically chose me. She wanted to, let me know what was going on. So I was big man on campus, football player and all that. I, let her be my girlfriend, and here we are.
You just let her.
Right.
And here we are.
Right.
So now the truth.
Thank you. Exactly. Right. There's some bits and pieces. No, but seriously, I mean, he's right. I mean, we've known each other since elementary school. No, junior high. Junior high school. And we were friends. Like, we kicked it. We used to sit next to each other in class and talk about the cars because they had the Auto Trader books. And we used to look at those magazines and talk about the cars we were going to buy. We just had a good friendship. Yeah. And then leading into our senior year, I was like, he's actually kind of dope. Okay. And so I just told him, I'm like, I sent one of my girlfriends to tell him, like, somebody likes you, just real immature, He's like, oh, he knew it was me. And then after that, we just locked in. We really did. And we've been together pretty much ever since.
See, you don't hear those stories anymore.
No.
I mean,
I ain't gonna say it was rainbows and,
Well,
yeah.
But.
Yeah. So clearly, 21 years, you guys been through some stuff. Was there anything that ever felt like it might break you that came up in your relationship?
Yeah, a few things. I would say like the earliest thing was, we got married before we was old enough to drink. And family, like, telling her, you 19 years old, how you gonna get married? That type thing. So we had to make, as kids, really, and I say kids because my daughter's 18, she's a kid, you know what I mean? But so I can't even, now I'm look back at it like, damn, we were young, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we were my daughter age when we got together, and the family were like, you guys are not ready. Y'all gonna make the biggest mistake, this and the third. Like, if you do this with this man, I'm gonna kick you out the house. And, it was like all of that. So it's like your parents raised you, you love them and they got your best interest at heart. How do you go against them for your boyfriend? That type thing. So she let me know, like, and she's a religious person. So she like, the boyfriend, girlfriend thing, that's cool, but I can't move in with you. Unless we're married, that type of thing. I was like, damn, all right. Well.
So you guys were how old when you got married?
19 and 20.
19 and 20.
You were babies,
We
right?
were.
Like
We
you were babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our lifestyle showed that. So we were married, and we snuck and got married. So we snuck to the Fulton County Courthouse where my father worked, which was so stupid. So literally, we're like ducking around corners, and I'm like, is Blake here? And they're like, yeah, he's here. You want me to get him? I'm like, no, don't let him know I'm here. Yeah. We snuck and got married. We didn't tell anybody anything until like weeks later. And our lifestyles, like, he was a club promoter, so always like out there, and I'm hating it. But at the same time, I'm in the club with my girls.
Okay.
But we're married, and so we're living like these single lives, but we're married. And it did cause a strain for us. It got to the point where it was like, you got to come out this club, and I got to stop going to the club, because we were living single lives, and it's just not healthy.
But essentially, they went from, I'm sorry, I cut him off.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you're about to say, girl.
Y'all proud of me, though, aren't you? I stopped.
Baby.
I caught myself in that moment.
They started typing, girl, stop.
I'm proud of myself. I said, I cut him off. Go ahead, baby. You go.
No, what were you about to say? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, y'all were essentially, you were kids, and so you grew up together. You grew each other up. And so just kind of looking back over that journey, what's been the key of keeping the spice in the marriage, going from kids to who are we really? Who are we as a couple? To, wow, look at us now. You know, we got this successful business and we got these great profiles, but there clearly had to be this journey, right?
Absolutely.
What were there like defining moments? Like what happened on your journey? Give us the goods. Give us the tea.
So I'll say, did you want to talk?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'll say,
I'm proud of you for that.
you see that? Yeah. I was about to say the same word. That is such growth. Listen, I'm sure we'll get to all that. But we were friends. We've always been friends first. And so I think that was a big part in making sure our relationship worked, was because like I didn't want to hurt him. I'm like, this is my dog. Like we couldn't stay mad at each other long because it's like, who am I going to talk to about this? You know, who am I going to share this information with? So communication has always been something that we have really been sticklers about. And we went to therapy one time, and I think we only went to 2 sessions because we used to argue. And we were in therapy, and we were like going at it. And this lady is sitting there looking at us like, this can't be real. And she was like, wait. I mean, it was like, whoa. And she taught us how to have a disagreement.
Yeah, they taught us how to argue.
Yeah.
Like it's a strategy. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Elaborate on that. The how to argue.
So, like, if we're having a disagreement, we're like, all right, you know, we might go for a little while. I'm like, all right, 12 o'clock, we're going to sit down and we're going to map it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in the moment, we might just be like, all right, look, in a minute, we'll map this out. You know? And then we come together and map it out. The strategy is I go, she goes. And we do it one more time. I go, and then she goes. And if we don't come to an agreement at that point in time, we find a way to let it go. The funny thing is, when I'm going, she needs to be listening, not formulating her her defense. You know what I mean? We're not in court because it's not about who's right or wrong. It's like we want to be right together. You get what I'm saying? It's like not be against you, you know. So by the time I get done talking, if she's really listening, sometimes it's like, that's what triggers you? That's what? I didn't even mean that. I was trying to, you know, and we get to the bottom of what's going on because we're not out here trying to hurt each other. But sometimes we just have, you know, disagreements and things of that nature. And
Y'all have to flip a coin and see who goes first?
really, probably her all the time. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I'm sitting there going,
It's probably her.
Because I've told her this, you know, when she likes to, she's like, to me, it's, Mike, a conversation is two folks going back and forth. And I'm like, but if you let me finish, I'll probably answer what you want me to answer. Because if what happens is, if you interject, ladies, while a man is speaking, right? You'll go, we talking about, it is yellow. I'm telling you it's yellow. And you go, but if the black came in, now we talking about black for 30 minutes. But if you would have let me say yellow, but then I saw it turn black.
Can I get the number of your therapist?
You would have realized. That therapist is in my head. Because that's exactly, she's basically right. He or she? She's spot on with it. Because if you're going back and forth and you're sitting there looking for the retaliation in the argument, you're like, you don't hear anything. You're like, go ahead, finish, because I'm about to light you up.
Exactly.
That's it. And that's what we've been doing. Like, waiting for it to finish, you know?
So do you guys still go to see a therapist?
No.
No. How did you know you were done and didn't need it anymore?
And I'm not going to say we don't need it. I think therapy is just good, just period, you know? We were still very immature, and it was one of those things where it was just like, we don't need it then. And we got that instruction, so to speak, or that advice from her. We started applying it, and we started seeing a difference, and it was like, okay, we don't have to go there anymore. And so we just never, ever went back. But we probably should.
And again, we're probably
doesn't mean it's a problem.
19 at that point.
Yeah.
It was early.
Yeah, it was early in the marriage.
So we weren't mature enough. But we did grab that, and 21 years later, we still use that tool.
Yeah.
Well, that's an important tool. I mean, honestly, you just gave us something to even grow on. So, guys, let's practice. He goes, then you go. Then he goes, then you go. Then at the end, If you still can't figure out, you just drop it.
Gotta
Who
drop it.
cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's not
'Cause you've
about
been
who
hurt.
wins. You've been hurt.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is taped. So we can just play it back.
I'm gonna beat him. Okay, so here's our story. Okay, so we go to a therapist during a really trying time, and we're arguing and arguing and arguing. At the end, the lady's like, "What?" She doesn't tell us the tool that Youre has told you. Instead, she goes, "You guys have absolutely no business together." So we turned and looked at each other and we go, "You have absolutely no business in therapy."
Oh my God. Right. Like,
If you tell people that they should be together when they come to you. So then we leave together cracking up. We on the elevator making out. Because something about that conflict and us both coming
It
together.
was like, oh no,
to-
I can yell at her, but you can't. It was one of those
Come on.
situations.
You can't tell him. You can't tell him he's a bad person. I can tell him.
Right,
You
not
can't
you.
tell him that. We're joking, but we're not.
that's crazy.
So then, all right, you guys, so you're growing together as individuals, but then you're also following your career journeys. And you then go into the fire department.
Yes.
Talk about that a bit. You don't see a lot of women. My uncle, by the way, was a lieutenant.
Really?
Yes. And so, I would hear the stories from him of just what you guys deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of shocking. So being a woman, did you have to stay all crazy hours of the night at the firehouse?
Oh yeah, you do what the guys do.
Yeah.
There's no distinction because of your
Yeah.
sex. You know.
Right.
So I went into the fire. I was 20, and it was kind of one of those things. I was going to Georgia State for sports medicine, and I was
Okay.
just bored. And I'm like, I want to do something different. And my mom was like, DeKalb County Fire Rescue's hiring. If they were the fire department at that time,
Okay.
you should apply. So I did. Didn't know anything about it. I never aspired to be in the fire service, and I just did it because I needed some excitement. Got hired and just fell in love with it.
Really?
And like you said, you see a lot. And that's where the fitness came in because I needed an outlet from all that I saw.
Gotcha.
So every third day, they're 24 hours on, 48 hours off. And, you're saving lives and protecting property,
Right.
but you're seeing a lot of things that the average person doesn't see.
Yeah.
And so, yep.
Let me just say something.
Okay.
Because when she tell the story, right, I feel like she just go,
Because I could talk all day about it.
112 pounds.
I was 103
He's
when I
painting,
came
literally,
on.
he's painting the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it
it's
was
somebody watching
103
this that's like,
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta
true.
carry
You know what I mean?
bodies out of
Yeah.
fires.
Yeah.
yeah, she had to pass like physical tests.
Yeah, so I'll go back. You're
Number
right.
one on the written test.
You're right. Okay. So I was 103 pounds when I started my journey into
Wow.
the fire service.
That
And
makes a difference.
Yeah, I was 103, and I'm a black female, 5'2", and so I'm not going to say that I was necessarily just welcomed in.
Right.
So going through training, it's almost like basic training. There was a captain that was like, don't let her make it out. I didn't find out until that years later. But he literally said, don't let her make it out. And one of the instructors came back a little later like, we can't stop her. Like, she's literally doing everything these guys do, if not better. And so what do you want us to do? So I got done with that, went out into operations, into the station life, and everything was good, so to speak, until I started moving up in rank. And then it was kind of like, I remember calling him because I took a test to be a captain. It was 155 of us that took that test. Went in and we had these study sessions. I did the work. I've always done the work, and so went into this and I got a call that I passed number 1 out of those 155 people.
Wow.
And my phone is just ringing. Everybody, thank you. All these people are calling like, congratulations. And I didn't expect that. I'm like, I just want to be a captain, And from that moment, I saw a turn with people.
Okay.
And I told them I felt like there were daggers being thrown at my back every third day. And that's when I realized like I had to do more. I had to be more educated. I had to be a step above the rest.
Yeah.
And anything that I did was going to be scrutinized more than the average person, namely the men, especially the white men.
Yes.
And I knew that. And so it made me just work harder. And I actually ended up flipping that. Because when I made chief, I remember we were on a fire scene and one of the guys came up and he was like, you know what? You really do a great job. Yeah. You really, you really are a good chief, And when I left, it was the same thing. Like, are you really leaving? That type of thing, And so, but I had to do so much more to get that level of respect. And it was trying on top of the crap that you saw,
And you would tell him about everything that was going on?
he want to come up there
I was really
sometimes.
doing my
I was
brother.
just about to say, how'd that make you feel, bro?
Who did it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was still on that. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
As a woman climbs her career journey, specifically in areas that are mostly dominated by men, we sometimes have to turn our aggression on. Like we sometimes have to turn our masculine energy on. And I mean, I it happened in our relationship, and sometimes we don't realize that it's still on when we come home. It's like you got to flip the feminine on and flip the masculine on. I can see you shaking your head. So what was that? I'm not going to Jason on this one. What was that dynamic like?
You want a
from
hug,
your
bro?
perspective?
So let's hug it out.
Look, if you'd asked me this a couple years ago, yes. But the thing is, and I always say it like this, right? Because she got on a recent podcast, and that's all they talked about was a woman being masculine, right? And then a man, and men don't want that. But I always look like if I'm a lion, she a lioness. You know what I mean? Like she's not too masculine for me, but at times it's like it bothers me. Like whoa. Take them boots off at the door, go hang that badge up. This is my house. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it had to be some of that going on.
Right.
But she had to be in her damn near like survival mode. She's just like so on it to where she comes in the house. I'm like, damn, relax.
Yeah.
It had to be that, But once she got once that turned on, she's still that person.
Right.
She's still like dominant. You know what I mean? She's still that type of person. But I'm dominant too. Sometimes that works if you have a dominant woman and a man that's kind of like docile or whatever. And we both like that. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, I just kind of gotta calm her down.
Right.
I think when we feel safe, we relax in our feminine energy, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm not saying she didn't feel safe with you, but clearly she just expressed she had daggers coming at her at work, so she didn't feel safe to necessarily take that armor off. But when we feel safe, I think it is very natural for a woman to just relax in her feminine. When y'all rise in your masculine.
Or when we remind you to calm that shit down.
Right. There we go.
Leave that shit over there.
Right.
Because you home now.
Right.
It was cute 5 minutes ago. It ain't cute no more.
No more.
That's it.
But it really is. Sometimes it's a juggling act, right? But you are no longer working for the fire department. You're retired now?
I retired. I retired 2 years ago.
And so do you find once she retired, she hung all that up?
No.
I was waiting to see what you was going to say.
No. But she's not so military. She's not so she kind of was mean a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not
She's
as
on her G.I. Jane.
Yeah, she's not as mean, But again, I never woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning and did a 24-hour shift of my life. You know what I mean? She got to go there, kiss the kids while they sleep, and we'll see them Tuesday. It was like that. You know what I mean? So I couldn't. I just had to be her comfort.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In that day and time. But now she's still like a boss, I guess. She got employees, she got stuff she got going on. So it's like she's still like chief.
Right.
She's still chief of her environment. You know what I mean? So
I love that as we're sitting here hearing this story, you're able to cheerlead still for your wife and brag on her, even when she wasn't bragging on herself. You're like, wait a minute now, let them know. You forget the important facts. You're able to brag on her, but I can tell you don't feel at all threatened. Your masculinity is not threatened by it. You're a real cheerleader.
yeah, for sure. It doesn't challenge my masculinity. You know what I mean? Because I'm still a boss and I still got 22 guys under my.
That's right.
So I'm still operating in my space. But it'd always be somebody else that pointed out. Now, when they were like, man, he got that masculine. She's masculine to you. You probably because you're weak. You know,
Exactly.
That's just how I was.
Right.
Exactly.
Sure.
That's how I was identifying.
And I let him lead too. I will say that. I do. Sometimes I do push back, but at the end of the day, I let him lead. And that's what I want in a husband. I don't want somebody who I can just maneuver and it's like, you do what I say and that's it. I don't want that type of man, So I have what I want and I have a very strong man that I want to lead me and our household, our children, So I do sometimes have to say, all right, Halani, shut up. This is what you ask for.
Yes.
You got it, and let him do it. So it takes some effort, but that's who he is, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
I love this balance in your relationship. You guys, You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Physically, but
very
also I
much
can
so.
tell there's so much substance there.
Yeah.
But so for everybody that is following your lives, this social media thing is so freaking trippy, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you're
It
like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're following your lives. What do you want the biggest takeaway about who you are as a couple to come across? What is that biggest takeaway?
Having to work part-time jobs and she having to work part-time jobs. We just went through everything everybody else has went through. But the thing is, doing it together, man, you can go so much faster, so much further, you know, as a unit.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand that. You know, it's even people that are in relationships, marriages, it's like, I got to get what I got going on. She got to get what she got going on. But when we started combining things, man, the income took off, the love life took off. Everything just became so much better when we became a team, a business, you know what I mean? Not just money, but just like family business. You know, we just work so well.
Exactly.
I think even about our lives. I was on television for many years before people could see us on TV together. And he was always there, but even after we had the babies, sometimes I had to go on the road and he kept the babies and he was still working his business. And I'll say this, I was following my dream and I loved that I was actually seeing it manifest, but it was lonely doing it by myself. This time around, it's our whole family, but I get to do this with my best friend every day, like literally on set, literally in clients' houses, we do everything together.
Yeah.
And it's so much more rewarding because it's like, look what we built.
Right.
And you're right.
Yep.
When you let go of the I for the we,
Right.
you go so much faster.
Yep. It's true.
Big time.
So much
Yeah.
better.
And it's like you said, I mean, you're best friends. And if you really, really look at your partnership as that, right? Like we're friends, we're best friends. You do everything with your best friend, right? It's the stigma out here, like he got to have his time, I got to have mine, and I got to do all this stuff on my own. It's like, well, why are you in this relationship? Yeah, I do agree that every now and then, you do need your me time, yes.
Right.
But that shouldn't be why every day do you have to just be gone away from your partner? That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, that's a problem.
If you need a reprieve.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you should want to do life with who you're supposed to do life with. You took vows to do that. So do it all the way. Nothing's separate. Nothing is separate in our house. Nothing.
Talk to us about business, though, right now. So then you guys go into business together. Talk to us about that journey and what are some of the challenges that you did not necessarily, because this is the Marriage and Money podcast, right?
Sure.
Let's get to the money. What were some of the challenges that came up that maybe you weren't expecting to face?
Okay. So he's always been an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. I was totally against it. So I gave him a lot of pushback when the ebbs and flows came and it was not that stability. And it was, I actually had some resentment. We had a situation where he had a trucking company. Trucking started going down a little bit. We had some trucks in the shop, that type of thing. And he wanted to get out of that. It was back-breaking work every day. I'm like, I don't care. It pays bills. You know, we're making great money. Go break your back. I do too. So that's my mindset.
Right.
And he's like, this is not life, and I can't continue doing this. I need something else. And he wanted to buy into a gym. But that meant taking a drastic pay cut. I'm talking about going from 6 figures a year to, 5 figures a year?
Basically, I was making $2,000
a month.
$2,000 a week to $500 a week. Basically.
Gotcha.
And it really put our household in a bind. It was, his car got repossessed. We almost lost our home. And I'm sitting back like, if he would just get a job. I couldn't say that to him, but my thoughts were, if he would just get a job, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah.
But he wants to be this entrepreneur, and it's all this ups and downs with this. And, when it's up, we don't complain, of course,
Right.
But when those downs come, it's like all these things. And so I had to adjust my mindset to what he was doing. Number one, and have trust in his abilities to make things shake when he said, and he always has. But in my journey coming over into entrepreneurship, I did it because even with all his different ventures, he always put me in them. And I guess you can continue with that. I never realized what he was doing, but he always had a space for me.
Right.
So with all the complaining and all that, I'll never do this.
Yeah.
I was doing it, not even subconsciously. Didn't even realize that
You were already in it.
I
You
was
were
already
an
in it.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, 2015 is when I got out the truck and bought into a gym. The gym wasn't doing what it needed to do. I thought I was just gonna buy into it. So I had to become a personal trainer. And I became a personal trainer, and the gym is starting to go up, but I have 2 partners. So we split the money 3 ways, you know. So but I'm looking at it like, damn, I'm doing all this, I got all this going on. I know I can do it, but it wasn't that I wasn't doing it. It was just I was splitting the money 3 ways. You know what I mean? So that's what I kind of told her, like, look, we got to keep going with this. You know,
you thought you needed all these partners, but really you had it
that's
on
it.
your own.
Anyway. And they kind of brought me in on it. But I'm already making 6 figures, so I'm cool. This is like my little part-time thing. Until it wasn't. You get what I'm saying? And, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, it was my passion. I picked passion over paycheck. Sometimes you got to identify what job, if every job paid $20 an hour, what job would you wake up in the morning brushing your teeth happy as hell to go do? And that's what it was. It wasn't going on that truck. You know what I mean? So when I identified that, I had to let her know, like crystal clear. I'm like, I don't give a damn about that Benz. I get another one. Because I'm on track. I'm on pay. I kind of know that I'm dope enough to do this, but I had to convince her.
You know, we chase money a lot. I mean, it's when we chase money, we chase the paycheck. You know, people chase multiple streams of income. And I'm with you on that we should be chasing multiple streams of joy, right?
Yes.
Get the money, but make sure you got the joy, because what good is the money if you don't have, you know, the latter? And so I will also say entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
No.
It's not. You got to have a plan, you know, and you should have a nest egg. A lot of us have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, which sounds like that's what you did and didn't even realize it, right? You were working the job for the benefits, but you were already an entrepreneur. But there's a joy. Would you agree when you wake up every day and you bust your butt and know that it's for you, not for someone else's company? You're not disposable. They can't snatch your job from under you. It's for you. No matter if you're taking a pay cut, you're building a legacy nonetheless, and it's yours.
Long story short, man, 2015, I went from making $25,000 a year. 2016, completely turned around. I was making $25,000 a week. You get what I'm saying? So that's what the grind looks like. If you want to see what the real grind looks like how do people make $1 million, things of that nature? Go through repossession, go through your house being in foreclosure, go through that stuff. When your back is all the way against the wall, you get creative as hell. You know what I'm saying? Especially with a wife breathing down your back. So, you know,
Pretty wife breathing down your back.
With all that going on, things being repossessed, so much being taken away, you're still working. How are you feeling towards this man at that point?
I had a lot of resentment, a lot. And I was working 2 jobs. So I'm going my 24-hour shift. I'm getting off and I'm going to work 12 hours on the ambulance service to try to help make ends meet. And I resented him a little bit because I'm like, you know, it's not just us. If it's us, we can thug it out. We could do whatever, you know, but we've got 2 children at this point, you know, and they don't deserve this. And so, but I never let him know that. He knows that now because we talk about these things now. But in the moment, I just had to do what I had to do to bring up the rear because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, you know? And so he's always supported me. So now it's my time to hop in. What do you need from me? Tired, weary, it didn't matter. It was, we got to work together now to make sure we can keep a roof over our heads and be able to feed our children. She
could have complained and changed everything for our lineage. You know what I mean? She could have complained. She could have got on me and I would have went back on that truck and just been that guy. You know
unhappy.
I'd have just been that guy. You know?
Because the power in her words would have struck you so hard, you're like, you know what, let me go ahead and do this trucking thing, whatever. And you wouldn't even be here in this moment.
Absolutely.
And men, y'all have the physical power sometimes to break us. We have the verbal power,
Absolutely.
you know, to break you. But it sounds like you showed him grace and allowed him room to grow, which, you know, lends to how you've been married for 21 years. And that's how people stay together. You're not going to be the same person 21 years later that you were when they first met. And the only way to stay together through that is to grow together and give the other person a little bit of space to figure it out sometimes. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Where can people find you guys? What do they need to know?
Well, the Loft Athletic Club is a gym that we own. It's in Atlanta, 275 Decatur Street. But on Instagram, Mr. 2 Weeks Out is my name, Jason Lobdell.
And I'm Mrs. 2 Weeks Out, MRS the number 2 weeks out. And I have a new page. I actually just became a real estate agent, so I'm really happy about that. It's the whole new venture that I'm embarking on. And so that page is _Real Houses of Atlanta.
Okay. Very good.
Congratulations on that.
So, you know what? It's always great when we meet people that we're familiar with or that we, you know, we know from social or we see out and love them even more. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I love your story and I love y'all. Y'all are so dope.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys follow them. Support
Make sure you do
these
it.
folks here and keep supporting us. Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Make sure you tune in and watch Married to Real Estate on HGTV. But want to go on.
And we want one to go on.
Got to give it to them.
Grace. I think that that's what I got, from this relationship with them having met so young and, having grown together is she knew what not to say to him because she knew what would break him. And she put her love for him and not wanting to hurt him before her need to let out her frustration. And now today they sit higher together because of it, right? So I think we got to give other people grace, and we may not realize that we're blessing ourselves in doing that as well.
Yes.
What you got to say?
What I got today is raise your conversation, lower your voice, right? Raise your conversation, lower your voice. Make sure you argue fairly, right? Listen not to be ready to debate, but listen to understand.
I love that.
All right?
All right, y'all.
And with that said, we appreciate y'all. Tell a friend, tell a friend.
It's the Marriage and Money Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for hanging out. We'll see y'all next time.